Exodus chapter 38. He then made the altar for burnt offering from acacia wood. It was square, 5 cubits long, 5 cubits wide, and 3 cubits high. He also made the horns on the 4 corners from one piece and overlaid it with bronze. Then he made all the utensils for the altar, the pots and the shovels, the basin, the forks, and the fire pans. He made all the utensils from bronze. He also made a bronze grating net for the altar under the ledge around it, reaching halfway up. He cast 4 rings for the 4 ends of the bronze grating to be holders for the poles. He made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with bronze. Then he put the poles into the rings on the sides of the altar to carry it. He made it hollow out of boards. He made the basin and the base from bronze, with mirrors from the woman who served at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Then he made the courtyard. For the south side, the hangings of the courtyard were finely twisted linen, 100 cubits long. There were 20 pillars and 20 bronze bases. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. Likewise, for the north side, 100 cubits long, with 20 bronze pillars and bases, and the hooks for the pillars and their bands were silver. For the west side, the hangings were 50 cubits, with 10 pillars and their 10 bases, as well as the hooks for the pillars of their silver bands. Likewise, for the east side, 50 cubits long, the hangings for one side of the gate were 15 cubits, with 3 pillars and their bases. Similarly, for the other side, on either side of the gate of the courtyard were hangings of 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and 3 bases. All the hangings of the courtyard all around were of finely twisted linen. The bases for the pillars were bronze. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. The overlaying of their capitals were silver, and all the pillars of the courtyard were ringed with silver. The curtain for the gate of the courtyard was the work of a color weaver of blue, purple, scarlet, and finely twisted linen. It was 20 cubits long and 5 cubits high, like the hangings of the courtyard. Their 4 pillars and 4 bases were bronze. Their hooks, along with the overlaying of their capitals and their bands, were silver. All the pegs of the tabernacle and the courtyard all around were bronze. These are the accounts of the tabernacle of the testimony, as they were recorded according to the commandment of Moshe, by the service of the Levites under the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron the Kohen. Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all the Adonai commanded Moshe. Along with him was Oholiab, son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, a craftsman, a skillful workman, and a weaver of colors in blue, purple, scarlet, and fine linen. The entirety of the gold that was used for the work of the sanctuary, including the gold of the offering, was 29 talents and 730 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. The silver from those numbered from the congregation was 100 talents and 1,775 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. That is a beka, or half a shekel per head, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, for everyone who was recorded from 20 years old and upward, for 603,550 men. The 100 talents of silver were for the casting, the bases of the sanctuary, and the bases for the inner curtain. 100 bases for 100 talents, a talent for each base. The 1,775 shekels he made into hooks for the pillars, overlaid their capitals, and made bands for them. The bronze from the offering was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. With it he made the bases for the entrance of the tent of meeting, the bronze altar, the bronze grating, all the utensils for the altar, along with the bases of the courtyard all around, the bases for the gate of the courtyard, as well as all the pegs of the tabernacle, and the pegs for the courtyard all around. Chapter 39. Next, they made woven garments of blue, purple, and scarlet for ministering in the holy place. They made the holy garments for Aaron as Adonai commanded Moshe. He made the ephod of gold, blue, purple, scarlet, and finely twisted linen. They hammered the gold into thin plates and cut it into threads to work it in with the blue, purple, and scarlet within the fine linen, the work of a skillful craftsman. Then they made shoulder pieces for it, joined together at the two ends. The artfully woven band on the ephod with which to gird it was of the same piece and the same kind of workmanship of gold, blue, purple, scarlet, and finely twisted linen, as Adonai commanded Moshe. They placed the onyx stones enclosed in settings of gold, edged with the engravings of a signet seal, according to the names of Bnei Israel. He put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod to be memorial stones for Bnei Israel, as Adonai commanded Moshe. He made the breastplate, the work of a skillful craftsman, like the work of the ephod of gold, blue, purple, scarlet, and finely twisted linen. It was square and folded doubled, a span long and a span wide. They mounted within it 4 rows of stones. A row of ruby, topaz, and emerald were the first row. In the second row were a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. In the third row were a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. And in the fourth row were a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They were enclosed in fittings of gold within their settings. The stones corresponded to the names of Bnei Israel, like the engravings of a signet seal, each one according to its name for the 12 tribes. They attached braided chains to the breastplate of wretched work from pure gold. They made 2 settings of gold and 2 golden rings, and set the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. They attached the 2 golden chains to the 2 rings at the ends of the breastplate. The other 2 ends of the chains they placed on the 2 settings and fastened them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod in the front. And they also made 2 golden rings and set them on the 2 ends of the breastplate, on the edge that was toward the side of the ephod facing inward. They made 2 more rings of gold and put them on the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod underneath in the front, enclosed by their coupling above the artfully woven band of the ephod. Then they bound the breastplate by the rings to the rings of the ephod with a blue thread, so that it would rest on the artfully woven band and not be loosened from the ephod, as Adonai commanded Moshe. He also made the robe of the ephod from woven work, all of blue, with the hole in the center of the robe, and a binding woven around the hole as a collar, so that it would not be torn. They also made on the hem of the robe pomegranates of blue, purple, scarlet, and twisted linen. Then they made bells of pure gold and put the bells between the pomegranates on the hem of the robe all around, between the pomegranates, a bell and a pomegranate, then another bell and a pomegranate, all around on the hem of the robe to minister in, as Adonai commanded Moshe. Then they made the sashes of fine linen, woven work for Aaron and for his sons, the turban of fine linen, the headwear, the linen undergarments of finely twisted linen, along with the tunic of checkered work in blue, purple, and scarlet, the work of a color weaver, as Adonai commanded Moshe. Finally, they made the plate of the holy cornet from pure gold and wrote an inscription on it, like the engraving of a signet seal, holy to Adonai. They tied to it a blue thread to fasten on the turban above, as Adonai commanded Moshe. Till all the work of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, was finished, Bnei Israel did everything according to what Adonai had commanded Moshe. They did it just so. Then they brought the tabernacle to Moshe along with the tent and all of its furnishings, its clasps, its boards, its crossbars, its pillars, and its bases, along with the covering of a ram skins dyed red, and the covering of seal skins, the veil of the curtain, as well as the ark of the testimony with its poles, and the atonement cover, the table and all its utensils, the showbread, the pure menorah with its lamps to be set in order, along with all of its utensils, and oil for the light, the golden altar, the anointing oil, the sweet incense, and the curtain for the entrance of the tent, the bronze altar, its grating and its poles, along with all of its utensils, and the basin and its base, the hangings for the courtyard with its pillars, its bases, and the curtain for the gate of the courtyard with its cord and its pegs, along with all the instruments for the service of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, as well as the woven garments for ministering in the sanctuary, the holy garments for Aaron the Kohen and for his sons to serve as Kohanim. According to everything that Adonai had commanded Moshe, Bnei Israel had done all the work just so. When Moshe saw the entire work and that they had done it just as Adonai had commanded, Moshe blessed them. Chapter 40. Then Adonai spoke to Moshe, saying, On the first day of the first month, you will set up the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. You are to put the ark of the testimony there and screen off the ark with the curtain. Then bring in the table and set in order the bread that is on it. Bring in the menorah and light its lamps. Set the golden incense altar in front of the ark of the testimony and hang the curtain over the entrance of the tabernacle. Set the altar of burnt offering before the entrance of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting. Set up the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar and put water in it. Set up the courtyard all around and hang the curtain of the gate of the courtyard. Take the anointing oil and anointing the tabernacle and everything within it and consecrate it, along with all of its furnishing, and it will be holy. Also, you are to anoint the altar of burnt offering with all of its utensils and consecrate the altar. The altar will be most holy. Then you are to anoint the basin along with its base and sanctify it. Bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting and wash them with water. Put the holy garments on Aaron and anoint him and consecrate him, so that he may minister to me as a Kohen. Also bring his sons and put tunics upon them. You are to anoint them as you did their father, so that they too may minister to me as Kohanim. Their anointing will be for an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. Moshe did so just as Adonai had commanded him. Now it happened during the first month of the second year, on the first day of the month, the tabernacle was raised up. Moshe raised the tabernacle and laid its bases, set up the framework of boards, put in the crossbars, and set up its pillars. Then he spread the tent over the tabernacle and put the covering of the tent on it, just as Adonai had commanded Moshe. He placed the testimony into the ark, set the poles on the ark, and put the atonement cover on top of the ark. He brought the ark into the tabernacle, set up the curtain as a screen, and screened off the ark of the testimony, just as Adonai had commanded Moshe. Then he set up the table inside the tent of the meeting on the side of the tabernacle northward outside the curtain. He set a row of bread in order upon it before Adonai, just as Adonai had commanded Moshe. Then he placed the menorah in the tent of meeting over against the table on the south side of the tabernacle. Then he lit the lamps before Adonai, just as Adonai had commanded Moshe. Next, he placed the golden altar in the tent of meeting before the curtain, and he burned sweet spices of incense there, just as Adonai had commanded Moshe. He hung the curtain over the entrance of the tabernacle. Then he set the altar of burnt offering at the entrance of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, and offered upon it the burnt offering and the grain offering, just as Adonai had commanded Moshe. Next, he set up the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar and put water in it for washing, so that Moshe, Aaron, and his sons could wash their hands and their feet there. When they went into the tent of meeting and when they came near to the altar, they washed, just as Adonai had commanded Moshe. He set up the courtyard around the tabernacle and the altar and set up the screen at the gate of the courtyard. So Moshe finished the work. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of Adonai filled the tabernacle. Moshe was unable to enter into the tent of meeting because the cloud resided there, and the glory of Adonai filled the tabernacle. Now, whenever the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, Bnei Israel went onward throughout all their journeys. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they did not move out until the day that it was. For the cloud of Adonai was on the tabernacle by day, and a fire was there by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys.